Is your Pinterest content AIO ready? Let's be honest for just a moment. Imagine this. You design a pin and it looks amazing, right? Aesthetically, it is the best you've ever created. Your colors are on point. The layout of your pin is like super tight. You've headlined and styled the pin just perfectly. And then you publish it with a title like new blog post with a little sort of star or something. And you link it to your homepage. But you didn't add any context. There's no real keywords, and there's nothing specific for the reader, or more importantly, for the algorithm. Now, if that were you, if you were scrolling, would that stop you in your scroll? And more importantly, what do you think AI sees? Well, I'm going to just really be brutally honest here. It's not going to see much. And really, that's the problem. But also, it's an opportunity. So, hey friends, welcome back. I'm Lisa, your Pinterest pioneer, podcast host. I am the founder of the Simple Site Lab, which, by the way, is a web design company. Yes, I do web design and have been doing it for over a decade. I'm also the founder of Body, Mind, Mood. And today we are diving into AIO, or Artificial Intelligence Optimization, and how it can help your Pinterest. Content actually gets seen and found with AI. Now, whether you're brand new to Pinterest SEO or maybe you've been pinning for years, this episode is definitely going to help you understand what's changing with search and how to start showing up in the results that actually matter. So if you've ever felt like your content is amazing, but for some reason remains invisible, well, first of all, you're not alone. And second of all, let's fix that today, okay? And that's really why we're here. So I want to break it down kind of simply at first, and I want you to do me one favor. No matter what you think of AI, like it or love it, hate it or, right, put everything aside, okay, during this time or time together here while you're listening. Just put all of that aside. And I want to break it down for you. AIO, it's like the next generation of SEO, okay? It doesn't mean that SEO is gone, because it's not. It just means it's sort of the future of SEO, really. And it's not just about Google anymore, right? Because Google's kind of been like the top name when it comes to SEO. We think SEO, we think Google, right? We do. Now, today I'm talking more about tools like ChatGPT. I'm talking about Perplexity. I'm also talking about Pinterest's internal search side, okay, because they do have one. And I'm talking about Google's SGE, which is now called Search Generative Experience. Okay, so if you're using AI to read, these tools use AI to read and summarize your content. And they don't just match keywords anymore. It's not just a matching game anymore. They're looking for specific things. They're looking for clear, they're looking for most helpful and most well-structured answers to pull into their results for people that are, querying stuff online. That would include things like your pin titles, your board descriptions, your blog post structure on your website, or wherever your blog lives, your product pages, meta descriptions, and even down to alt text and headings. Yes. So if your content is even remotely vague or maybe a little unstructured, AI tools simply tend to skip it. Okay, that is the hard, brutal truth. But when it's organized, when it's helpful and clear, AI will start to surface you and your information, your content, in summaries, in search previews, and even in sort of things like smart suggestions, right? And the best part of all of this, right, all of this stuff, is that you don't actually have to overhaul your Pinterest strategy or your website strategy. I know some of you are thinking, oh my gosh, I've got to go back to the drawing board and start again. No, you don't. You just need to optimize what you've already created, okay? And there is a way to do that. And believe me, I'm right there with you in terms of learning how to optimize. I have spent a ton of time in the last number of, I would say even 6 months, really going through my content, my website, and making sure that it is AI pretty, AI friendly, okay? Now, before we dive into the how-tos, I want to tell you about the whys in terms of why I created an AIO Pinterest checklist. Now, this checklist I posted on the PBC a couple of days ago for PBC members as an early access. And I want to share it with you. And please note that I will be sharing this down below in the show notes. So no worries if you don't have it yet. Now, I wrote this because I kept seeing creators who I believe are creative, they're consistent, they're hardworking, and they're doing, in my mind, they're doing everything right, whether it's on Pinterest and Instagram or another platform, for example, TikTok. But yet, when you search them in AI, so Google, or you're searching in ChatGPT or wherever else, it's getting skipped. Their content is literally getting skipped and they're not showing up. And I couldn't really get my head around that. I was really quite surprised. Now, it wasn't because their content wasn't good. It's actually because AI couldn't recognize, I think, how good it was or is. It didn't see the benefits because it didn't have the structure and there weren't the signals there. There wasn't the clarity. And that's exactly what AIO wants, right, in order to show it up. And these are the things that you need to fix in order for it to surface in AI. So this checklist that I've written is sort of, to my mind, your no fluff. It's an easy step-by-step way to do some of these things. Boost your visibility, for example. You can use what you already have. And this checklist will help AI tools understand and recommend your content, right? So you can grab it, again, in the show notes or on the PBC. So let's walk through it together so you can start applying some of these changes right away, okay? And again, you're not starting from scratch. You're just tweaking. That's all we're going to say. We're just tweaking. So step number 1 on my list is use clear keyword-rich language. Now, we've heard this time and time again, keywords, keyword-rich. But first things first, your pin titles need to be specific, okay? Instead of something vague like new blog post, use something that tells AI and more specifically your audience exactly what they're getting. So think of something like Canva weekly planner template for busy entrepreneurs. Okay, now in that one sentence, it gives us a lot of information: what it is, who it's for, and most importantly, why it matters. Now, when I am doing stuff for my pins, I will use Pinterest trends to find real search phrases that I know pinners and potentially my audience are actually already typing in. And what I do when I find the information is I actually try to build those into my titles. Right? I may not do it perfectly, and that's okay if it's not perfect, but building those into your titles really does help. Okay? So bear that in mind. Step number 2, design pins that are instantly understandable, right? So we're on point here, your visuals. This is what we're talking about. Design pins that are clean, they're bold. I mean, the visuals really speak to people and super easy to understand at a glance. Like just glancing at it, you'd know what it was about. Okay, think about that. An example would be something like 3 free Canva templates for coaches. That would be the headline on the pin. Your image might be something like, you might have a laptop mock-up, maybe a tablet mock-up, and you're going to show those templates, right? We see that quite a bit. That's a pretty common thing, but it does help people to know. Now, people should know exactly what your pin is about before they even finish reading the text. Right? If that's happening, then you're on point. And remember to keep it, sort of scroll stopping. You want people to not be confused. You want clarity, right? Clarity equals clicks, and the clicks, right? The more clicks you have equal a stronger signal to AI. So think of it in that terms, and I hope I said that, clearly for you. Step number 3, link to structured AI-friendly pages. Hello, where your pin leads really matters. We know this why. We know this because Pinterest, it's really important to Pinterest where your pin is going, where it's leading to. It really is. You want to make sure that your blog post or your product page, wherever you're linking that pin to, includes some of the following things. For starters, a matching H1 title. What does that mean? It matches to your pin. The title of, your blog post, right? Matches with the pin title. You want to have descriptive subheadings. So think about your subtitle on your blog post, and then think about your first paragraph introducing what you're writing about in that blog post. Or as AI would see it, H1, H2, and H3s. The next thing you want to make sure that you've got is a short but accurate meta description. Okay? Think like meta description for your photos, descriptions for that particular page. Think about alt text. Okay? Now let me give you an example. If you don't know what I mean by meta description, let me just give you a really quick example. This guide helps handmade sellers grow with Pinterest SEO, repinning strategies, and optimized visuals. There are no ads required. That would be a type of meta description you might put in. It might be a little extreme, but you might put something like that in order for it to get found. Now, the behind the scenes is that most website builders like Squarespace or WordPress, Shopify, they let you set this information or add this information into your actual page settings, right into the blog post even. Okay, so do that. It's really important. Another place that you can add meta data or descriptions would be in your photos. So if you've got a photo for your blog post, that would be a place that you would want to put it. Alt text. Some platforms like Instagram, Facebook, Pinterest, you have the alt text feature. You definitely want to add it there because, right, that will also play into AI. Now, step number 4, optimize your Pinterest profile. Yep, your Pinterest profile actually is part of your AIO strategy, right? Think of it like your AI business card. I mean, that's the best way I can describe it. You want to use a descriptive display name. So, for me, for example, just as an example, Lisa, digital templates for course creators, right? Very straightforward and to the point. You also want to name your boards with search-friendly topics. Think email funnel templates, Canva resources for coaches, or Instagram content planning, okay? You definitely want to add 1 to 2 sentences on your board descriptions that explain who the content is for and what it actually helps with, okay? Remember, AI needs context. You want your profile to give it context, okay? Step number 5, we want to tweak, repin, and you want to stay consistent. Now, this is a message that I, have been sort of putting out in the last few episodes of this podcast, and also in a lot of the posts in the PPC. So tweak, repin, and stay consistent. This is the best part, right? Literally, you do not have to start from scratch. Do not start from scratch. Take your best performing pins and give them a massive refresh. That's all you need to do, right? You can try things like a new title, maybe an updated image. You can try a fresh board that you're pinning to, or even a more descriptive pin description, right? You're going to repin it. And remember, AI and Pinterest both treat active, updated content as more relevant. So by doing this, you instantly have made your content more relevant. Don't ever stress about, content, constant new content, or having to, create brand new content every day, every week. You just want to focus on optimizing what's already working. And of course, you're going to create new content, but in the meantime, you can focus on what's actually working. Okay? Now that you're AIO, totally educated here, I'm going to share my pin and plan tip of the week. Here's the quick win for this week, tying it all in together. If you took one pin that you have, you're going to audit that pin as if you were an AI tool, right? So a little bit of role play, I guess. Ask yourself, is the headline clear and keyword rich while you're looking at your pin? Does the description explain the benefit? And does the link lead to a helpful structured page? Now, if any of those things that you've answered and your pin doesn't maybe check all those boxes, that's okay. You're just going to tweak it, you're going to update it, and you're going to repin it. And remember that the small changes that you actually give to a pin that you're repurposing or repinning will give you a huge visibility boost. Okay? So there we are. Now, let's jump into my favorite part of the show. It's a real question from the Pinterest business community. Now, this week, instead of singling out a particular PPC member, I took a question that I really thought fit really nicely into today's episode. So here we go. Let's do it. Pinterest is introducing labels for AI generated or modified images. Okay, this is a big topic, by the way, on the PPC. How will this affect visibility for content that AI tools like ChatGPT, for example, might use? And this is a great question. Pinterest recently began labeling AI generated or AI modified pins to increase the transparency. They also added a see fewer feature, so if users want to limit the AI based results. Okay, now here's what that means for you. What it means is you need to be authentic, really authentic, helpful, and you need to structure and structured sort of, will always sort of outperform the AI fluff. Okay? Now, AIO isn't about pretending your content is AI generated. It's about formatting your content in a way that's easy for AI tools to understand and recommend. Okay? So just remember that. Whether you're writing it yourself, you're outsourcing, or you're using AI for support, remember to stay clear, stay real, and keep it structured. Okay, so these are some really big things. Now, on the PBC, Pinterest Anna did actually put a post up recently about AI generated content and tags and so on. So I would encourage you to get onto the PBC and have a look at that. Really great announcement. But yeah, I mean, this was a really good question. And I think it stands to reason with the Pinterest business community. There is some very serious concern about AI and AI generated images and so forth. But I'm not really talking about AI generated images. I'm actually just really talking about pin descriptions and titles and structure on your blog posts. So do remember that. Now, you're officially, again, AI aware. You're educated now. Good for you. Now, you know what it is, why it matters, and how to make Pinterest content that's not just beautiful, but actually findable, right? Because that's really the name of the game here. Now, don't forget, you can grab your checklist on the PPC or in the show notes. And please make sure to follow the Pin and Plan podcast on Spotify, on Apple, Amazon Music, or wherever you listen, because next week, guess what? We're diving into how to format your content for AI. Bullet lists, headings, sections, right, that are summarizing, how to train AI to pull your stuff into search previews. But until then, pin with purpose, plan with intention, and optimize like AI is watching, because hello, it basically is already. So go do it. I will see you next week. If you want to hit me up in the PBC or on Instagram, you can find me at Body Mind Mood Fit and the Simple Sight Lab. On the PBC, you can find me at Body Mind Mood. I'll see you there. Bye for now.